have to confess that the 7th episode of Grey's Anatomy Season 21 did not go the way I had anticipated it would. I wasn't really prepared for any of it, including the startling death, the tearful farewell, and the heaping serving of callbacks to past storylines from Grey's Anatomy. Every single one of these things happened. While it is true that some of the revelations made in the episode were foreseeable, the hour as a whole left me in a state of shock. It did not come as a surprise to me at all that the talented intern had a near-death experience, because I was aware that Midori Francis is going to leave the show and her character, Mika Yasuda, this season. What took me by surprise was the fact that she managed to survive. Unfortunately, Chloe, her younger sister, who was already battling cancer, did not make it through the vehicle accident that came so close to taking Mika's life because she did not survive. However, Mika managed to pull through despite the anxiety that she experienced from her pals and her sort of girlfriend throughout the stressful hour of touch and go surgery. However, the question that still has to be answered is, how exactly do the showrunners want to get Yasuda removed from the show? Being able to say farewell to her character through the means of a terrible tragedy made perfect sense, and this choice was consistent with how other exits from Grey's Anatomy have been handled. They are as follows: Mark Sloan, Lexi Gray, George O'Malley, and Derek McDreamy Shepherd. I could go on, but the point is that there have been a lot of dramatic and gruesome deaths where important players from Grey's Anatomy have been involved. Therefore, this raises the question, what was the goal of putting Mika through a vehicle accident that she was technically responsible for, and then killing her sister immediately afterward? You can call me jaded, but I am now afraid that Mika's actual departure will be much more heartbreaking and difficult to come to terms with. Throughout the course of the show, a number of different characters expressed their feelings for Yasuda in a poetic manner. Jules, whose friendship with Mika had been intensifying for the entirety of the season, was especially inconsolable nonetheless. All of the interns struggled with the possibility of losing their friend. It is a relief that Yasuda did not have to be officially farewelled by anyone, despite the fact that there were several poignant speeches. The one from Blue really made me a little sniffly. But in any case, the final episode of Jake Borelli was broadcast this week, as Levi was getting ready to go to Texas in order to participate in a pediatric research fellowship. But first, what about Texas? Are you a gay man? Given the current state of politics, why was it that the writers were unable to send Levi to a location that was marginally more accepting of gay people? At the very least, his new romantic interest, James, will be by his side right now, I suppose? It seems like it might be a bit too soon for those two to move in together, especially considering that they will be relocating to a new city and state across the country. It's true. As a result of the fact that real love cannot be stopped, James decided to resign from his position as Gray Sloan's chaplain, which he had held for, what? To accompany Levi to San Antonio for a period of 2 months. Even if it was a touch hasty, it was a very lovely gesture that was expressed. The best of luck to those two of you. Levi could not possibly travel any place without first spending some emotional moments with Joe, as this was an absolute necessity. Even if it were merely due to the fact that both of them had the ability to be really cruel, the connection that those two had at times was a little bit perplexing. But it was impossible to dispute that they shared a great deal of love for one another. It doesn't matter how far apart they are physically, Levi and Joe will always be close. This is especially true now that Levi is officially a godfather to the twins who are still in the process of being born. The storyline of Levi came to a close with a stunning compilation of some of the most memorable experiences that he had encountered during his time on the program. This was the ideal way to pay tribute to a character who had undergone such significant development in such a short period of time. Levi has stated that he would be returning to Seattle at some time in the future, so it is not surprising that we will see him appear once more at some point in the future. The storyline now has him moving to Texas. Isn't it possible to have hope? Lucas was the character that I focused on this week, despite the fact that Chloe, Mika, and Levi were the clear focal points of all the attention. He has had a difficult time fitting in and finding his place in the hospital and with his classmates ever since he started working there. This episode made it quite evident that he is the person who puts the weight of the world on his shoulders and believes that he is responsible for everyone and everything. In addition to the outward manifestation of his stress, which consisted of vomiting into a biohazard bag as he was racing between Chloe and Mika's operating rooms. Lucas also displayed a significant amount of his mental battle in the manner in which he stormed away from Simone when she was attempting to soothe him. There is no way that he could be responsible for Chloe's passing. On the other hand, this does not imply that he would not blame himself for it, particularly after Mika requested him to look after her sister. Not only does Adams bear the burden of blame and guilt, but he is not the only one. When Mika is finally ready to meet her friends again, she will have to deal with the disappointment that Lucas feels since he was unable to save Chloe, as well as the guilt that Jules feels because she brought Mika in for surgery before the disaster. Since it is a traditional setting, I can honestly say that I am not looking forward to it. I have a feeling that they are going to have Mika offer some kind of absolution to both Lucas and Jules, and although I understand that they require reassurance that she does not hold them responsible, the attention that should be directed toward Mika at this moment is where it should be. Putting anything else on her shoulders would be unfair. I would want to make a side remark that I am hoping that Midori Francis is considered for an Emmy Award for the moment in which she responds to Chloe's death. I was knocked to my very core by her sobs. All things considered, it was a tense and significant episode, and it left us with the impression that things are going to get even more difficult before they get better. The autumn finale is scheduled to air the next week, and the promotional material has already established a premise that is really disturbing and is yet another throwback to an older plot. It is expected that Adams and Joe would be present in a convenience shop when it is robbed at gunpoint. If you recall correctly, this is the manner in which Adams' grandfather passed away. Negative energy permeates the entire area. Tell me what you think about the program that aired this week by leaving a comment below your opinions.